you hear me now?
Got you, mate. Got you.
Nice, nice. Okay, right there. Let's check we're live, Dave.
I
If we've
think
had
we are. I think
confirmation.
we are. I haven't had the confirmation as of yet.
We did have confirmation that everything all right, boyos. I think we apologies if you just joined us. We're a little bit late today. We had a few things to kind of sort out, didn't we, Dave?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, MRI today, results, all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna be
yeah.
fine, mate. You're gonna do just well. But yeah, cheers if you just joined us. Hey Paula, hey Miko, hey Ramona, Tina. Just a reminder, if you have joined us, just comment, let us know if you're around. Obviously, nice to see who's on in the comments. And yeah, give us a thumbs up, a like, a little wave if you want to. Great stuff. Got some people joining now. We got Suzette, Julie, Laura, Leah, all the way from Oz. Yeah, nice to see you with us. It must
All
be
the
quite
usual
late
suspects.
where
All the
you are.
usual suspects.
All the usual suspects, yeah. Leah, thanks for staying up so late. There's great stuff. Oh, here's Dave Remington. Yeah, hoping your knee is getting better, Dave. How's Hopalong Dave getting along? Well, he's luckily he's hopped into the office today.
I have hopped into the office. Yeah, my
Literally.
first day back in the orifice, and yeah, feel pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Dave. I know you were like, no, I really want to do it, really want to do it. And I was like, Dave, it's okay. We've taken turns a couple of times with me. I really appreciate you joining us today.
No, I always said like bullet in the head before I missed a Tuesday tuning, and as it turns out, completely blown up knee doesn't count. It's not on the list.
Yeah, no, good man, good man. Well, hey, look, so we'll get on with it today. We've got lots to crack on with, Dave. Couldn't resist. It's gonna kill me later.
Was
But
that?
yeah, so
Yeah, needed
sorry.
to be said, mate. Needed to be
Oh,
said.
don't worry. I could have some comebacks on there, but I won't go that far.
Yeah, otherwise the
Dave.
whole live will be puns.
But yeah, today is all about sort of allergies. Things that because we get asked a lot of questions around allergies. What happens if I'm allergic to dairy, if I'm gluten intolerant, celiac, allergic to nuts, things like that. Also, as well, you've got people who maybe struggle with asthma or hay fever. They need to take sort of certain drugs to manage that or altitude.
Yeah.
And that leads us on to then drugs that, not the dodgy kind. The altitude drugs. So we talk about things like Diamox or
Yeah.
acetazolamide, as it's called, although Diamox is a lot easier to say.
Yeah.
We don't need beer
I've never
fines.
managed the other one.
Acetazolamide, yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about that as well because we thought, well, whilst we're talking about certain things, we'll drop it in. But right, Dave, yeah, where should we start, mate? I know a bit of a mad start today, but should we start on the types of questions that crop up, or maybe I've said a few already. Where should we crack on
Yeah, I
with?
think probably the most common question we get around sort of, I suppose if we start with one of the
Yeah,
most important, because your diet, what you eat every day to day, that
yeah,
fuels the body. It's got to be right. It's got to work for you. Otherwise, the whole trip is going to fail after day one. So one of the
yeah,
questions we get quite a lot is about, celiac, gluten intolerance,
yeah,
and whether we're able to cover those types of meals. Then you've got
yeah,
vegetarians, vegans, lots of different sort of diets, and it's one of the big things because obviously it is super important to people because you don't want to have to compromise your health or your values in order to be able to reach EBC or
yeah,
Kili or go to Patagonia or anything like that. And one of the good things about our trips, which one of the reasons why they take a little bit of time to put together, is because we don't just sort of slap a name on them and let the chips fall where they may. We do
yeah.
try and sort of work out all of these little kinks for people. And we are happy to say that, on pretty much all of our trips, we are able to accommodate. In fact, I'm not aware off the top of my head any type of intolerance or choice
Yeah.
that we can't sort of accommodate really. And I think I'm right in
No,
saying that.
we've had some people with some serious disabilities on the trek, and they had one person was, I think it was someone who's had autism, quite severe non-verbal autism, and they had his carers with him
Yeah,
on the way to Everest Base Camp, and it was the same questions, what would it be like, what sort of food is available, You know, and the biggest thing we all said was that open dialogue really was that, you know, if there's anything like that goes on, you obviously tell us, share it with us, and we can, you know, we can discuss it with the on the ground team then and say, right, okay, look, we got someone with this condition, or, you know, if it's a disability or anything, and then we can, whether that might be, you know, we had like extra porters with some people before, just to maybe carry a bit of their support equipment. You know, we've been able to accommodate that because we we certainly don't want to be the no crew. You know, we can, especially with the way it is now, it's not as remote, you know, which is in a way you could say it's a little bit of a negative thing, but I think it's not. But it's not as remote as it used to be, which is good in terms of having electricity, running water, having access to certain things quite quickly. Oh, okay, you know, we can't get away from it. You are in a remote location. You know, it's you know, there's no Mackie D's there. There's you know, limited pharmacies. You know, it is remote, but you know, that definitely, certainly what's available already is an advantage, and we'll certainly do that when it comes to anyone that's got an issue. That does have its advantages then, because we can manage it. Like, I know we've talked about and had questions around people who've had was it a colostomy bag? You know, and people who've had that. I think someone actually climbed Everest with a colostomy bag, or no, sorry, Kilimanjaro, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, Kilimanjaro,
With that kind of issue. And you see, the same. That wasn't on our trips, by the way. That was someone else that we read about and researched. You know, very inspirational chap. I can't remember his name, but he, you know, he knew it was going to be challenging. There's probably going to have to be some. It could take a little bit longer, or have to be some things that might be a little bit different for him. But you know what, his desire to want to get to top of Kili, even with that kind of issue, you know, whilst trying to keep it clean and sanitized and all the stuff that goes along that. And he did it. You know, fair dues to the bloke. Well, because that was challenging, right?
One of the good things about sort of the trips that we do as well, and keeping them sort of customizable, it is that, you know, when you mentioned there about it being remote, it almost, I think as well, plays into your favor if you do have an intolerance, because that means that a lot of the food is fresh. You know, it's grown locally, it's produced locally, and it's all like local vegetables and stuff like that. We always say to stay off meat in these remote locations anyway. So generally speaking, as it's a little bit different on Kilimanjaro. We can provide meat meals on Kilimanjaro just because of the way that we cook it all, you know, bring it all up. We have our own gas and everything like that, so it's all safely done. But when you're sort of trekking more like EBC, where it's sort of, rather than sort of top to bottom, where you bring everything with you, it's like you're using the local tea houses and the local support. Pretty much everything there is vegetarian as a default anyway. So you've got vegetarian covered. If you are vegan, all you have to do is let the guide know. They can make sure there's no cross-contamination and things like that.
Yeah.
And also, we always recommend that, like that fella, James, who went to EBC, who was, he was a non-verbal autism. He was celiac. He did bring some stuff with him, which we always recommend as well. So if you know that there are some sort of like, you know, dried foods that you can bring that you know you can eat in an emergency, or if there's some snacks that you can have that are not going to be able to buy locally, then bring those as well. Because, you know, snacks are always on my, and sweets are always on my top 10 list of things in the day pack. And it makes a big difference. I also read somewhere that Oreos might be vegan as well. Maybe one of the vegans, maybe Diane is on here and she can confirm that for me. But I was quite surprised that Oreos were vegan. But if they are, that might be an awesome little thing to bring with you as a little treat.
We one thing to sort of shout out about as well is Shona, who's one of our Evertrekker veterans now. She's been to Everest Base Camp with us a couple of years ago now. I know it, obviously that gap year, which is, you know, the last 12 months has been a bit of a lost year as such, but she came back with us, I think it was in 2019. Shona, correct me if I'm wrong. I know time's absolutely crazy right now, but did a really good article for us, which is now on our website, which I highly recommend that you read. Lauren, if you're on the links, if you can put that link into the comments there, just for everyone to. I see Penny's back, Dave.
She hasn't seen me in a few days, so she wanted to come over and say hello, so I had to give her a little ruffle.
Oh, I love her. Yeah, Penny the Everdog is.
She hasn't seen me in a week, so she's hello. Just amongst yourselves, guys.
It's because she knows, mate. You need a big hug after your injury. That's what it is.
Yeah. Mate, you're telling me about it. I know.
Good man. Sorry, where were we? Yes, Lauren. I think she's going to be posting the when it comes to. Sorry, Shona in her article, she's going to be posting it in the comments now. Definitely read that. And I was almost lost then. Yeah, some of the comments coming in, they're really good. Got some really good questions as well, which are on topic. So we'll definitely take those on.
Yeah.
Loads of questions coming through, which is good, guys. Keep them coming as well. You know, we're usually here for about an hour, so we'll try and cover everything if we can. Diane, Diane, great to see you on. I know obviously we've talked about this before, but yeah, definitely chuck your questions in, mate. I know Oreos are vegan, but can't
Oreos
have
are
them
vegan.
wheat.
Dave Remington
Not a
said
fan of wheat.
Dave Remington single portion intolerant. We got a little EBC, mate, Dalbat all the way.
Yeah.
Because you'll get
Unlimited.
seconds and thirds, and because they make so much rice, they're like, more rice, and you're like, please, for the love of God, no more rice. They'll keep feeding you until you burst. Bit of a heavy meal to have, isn't it? If you like when you stop for lunch. Like,
It is, yeah, it is.
Like usually, I know Andy's is momos and chips, right? That's the go-to lunch.
Yeah, well, sometimes, you know, when you're on a trek, you know, you like some comfort food, or you get to that point where certain foods are kind of, you know, 100% you're going to eat that, even if you're not feeling great, because at altitude that does come into it. You know, the foods that you might normally enjoy, you know, if you're not feeling too well, or you know, one of the symptoms of altitude, high altitude sickness, you know, which is it does subside, but I'd say most people do feel this way, is that you lose your appetite.
Yeah.
So I always think that if you can stick then, and I know it's a bit boring, but you know, it is what it is. You're on a certain trip that you need the fuel, you need carbs, or you need energy or protein, you know. And for me, if I can have potatoes, so you know, obviously, you know, I've got no intolerances as such, but yeah, so I usually have eggs and potatoes, or momos, which is a Nepalese dish, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you always get this little sort of dip of some curry sauce, which is lovely. And that is just easy to eat with chips. You know, we all like chips. And yeah, and off you go. You got the fuel. But yeah, obviously, if you can't eat chips or you can't eat eggs, you know, what else is there, right? We get this question a lot. You know, what else is there to eat? I know we talk about rice, and again, I don't know the specifics of what's in what. I'm off my educated guess with this. But I know a lot of people before, Dave, have eaten a lot of rice, right? The people who have a lot of intolerances.
Yeah, basically, like there's no way of getting around it. But I suppose it's like most places in life, if you're not able to cook for yourself, if you do have an intolerance, it will narrow the menu for you. So you're not going to be able to have everything on the menu. But what we can do, we can be really careful for things like cross-contamination. So if you do want something that's, you know, vegan or vegetarian, but you're just concerned, and we can make sure doesn't come into contact with anything. But the other side of it is, like it tends to be a lot of rice, and you can get vegetable fried rice. Obviously, that I think sometimes maybe they might use the oil, but most of it's just fried in a wok, you know, with a little bit of oil and stuff like that. But you can always say to them no oil or none of this vegetable, and they'll make it for you as you would like it. They're so accommodating. The other thing as well that we should talk about is, you know, on Kilimanjaro, it's slightly different given that we take everything with us, you know. So what will happen is you'll have a little briefing at the beginning of the trek where the guide will ask you, you know, any vegetarian, any vegan, any intolerances, and all you got to do is then make them aware of any specific meal you need or would like or don't want or don't like, and they'll make sure that you're accommodated for the entire trek. And also, like I said, you know, if in doubt, bring something with you. You know, those little what's that company? Summit to Eat, and do pretty good stuff.
Great, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure on their again, their sort of maybe gluten-free range, or you know that, but I know they do cater for sort of vegans and people with allergies. So it's worth looking at them. Summit to Eat.
They do have a gluten-free range, definitely.
And they're backup, aren't they? You don't necessarily need them because, look, you know, I know you want to bring stuff, and you know, obviously we try and obviously support with food as much as we can because that's what's included. But if you want to bring your own stuff, you can, and we can give them to the guys, and they can get it all ready for you and prepped. You know, that's not a problem.
Jerome saying don't eat the Tanzanian porridge. I think we had a similar reaction there. The banana porridge, and remember when they brought out a huge big bowl of banana porridge? It's an acquired taste. You can't really equate it to the porridge you're used to at home.
You got to trick your brain.
I mean, I ate it. I had a bowl. I'll be honest with you, I put an unusual amount of jam in it. Like, it was mainly
Got,
like
it's quite, because in Tanzania, their food that Tanzanians eat is ugali, which is it's made from local produce essentially. That's what nearly every Tanzanian eats. It's
yeah.
quite basic, and that is an acquired taste. I remember the first time I went to Tanzania, way before start of Evertrek. I think it was 2008 the first time I went there, and yeah, tried that for the first time. But it was quite cool actually, because
Yeah.
it was in a remote place. And
Have I tried that? And I don't think I've tried it. I know we had.
I'm not sure.
I don't think I did it.
Next
I know
time.
we had. Next time I'm there, I'll have it. Which yeah, it might give me at least 9 months.
I definitely I definitely prefer Nice. Good to hear, Dave. But yeah, banana beer is definitely better than banana porridge in Tanzania. But that's another story.
Yeah. Also, yeah, again, not really beer. But there's a picture somewhere of me and you, and with some of our guides over there having a little bit of a impromptu celebration, drinking some banana beer.
It was a debrief.
But moving on from diet then, Anne, should we talk a little bit about perhaps the medications that you might need and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions I know come in. I'm just reading some of the comments, guys. Great to see so many people join us as well. Someone was talking about sort of using different medications together as well, which there's some sort of myths around that. So it's want to try and bust those if we can. So the first one obviously is Diamox or acetylazamide, if you want to Google it. But Diamox is essentially something that I think it was about 50, 60 years ago. It was used to treat epilepsy initially, or no, epilepsy and some sort of eye glaucoma. That's it. And they realized for some crazy region that actually it's great when you're at altitude to sort of help with the symptoms. And back in our early days, it was something that I have to be honest, I wanted to do more research on and also testing as well. And now, sort of 5 years on from my sort of early thoughts around Diamox, which was, I used to advise against it. I want to be honest about that. But my mind has completely changed, and it can change people's trips that. Absolutely unbelievable. You'll see people that say really, bad at say 3,500 meters. Almost like, okay, trip's almost over here, and then they're on Diamox, and the next day they're at 4,500 meters or just over 4,000 meters, and they're fine and they're strong, and you're like, wow, that was a change. And all of our guides do carry Diamox, but you can visit your local travel center or travel clinic, GP. GPs for some reason they don't like prescribing it, so if good to have a chat with them. But I always like to sort of advise that they're not altitude specialists. No. Speak to the travel guys, the people that the travel specialists. They're the ones who they will prescribe it because they know what it can do and they know how safe it is. So definitely speak to them. But yeah, Diamox is certainly one that I highly recommend if you are struggling. Dave, I know last year on Kili, it wasn't something you used before and necessarily didn't really want to use it, but you did, and it changed your trip, right?
Yeah, no, I joined Team Diamox. So I've done EBC multiple times and been to altitude multiple times, but and I always treat medication. So if I need it, I'll take it. I've always advised people that. And then when it came where I had to make that decision for myself, I decided, well, I'll follow my own advice and be an adult about it. It doesn't matter about ego or anything like that. It's about enjoying the trip and getting to the top. So some people might worry about taking it because they want to do it without it, but I realized that's not the point. Like if your knee's sore, you'll take an ibuprofen. If you have a headache, you'll take a paracetamol. If you are struggling with altitude, take some Diamox. It takes the edge off. The only thing is, I think you're not supposed to take it if you have any type of something to do with sulfur. So I think any medication where the word sulfur is going to appear, then you need to avoid it. It will make you pee more. So my brief understanding of how it works is when your body's naturally acclimatizing, it takes at least a month at altitude to produce more red blood cells. That's why it takes so long to climb Everest. When we go to these trips like Kili and EBC, we're only there for a short period of time. So what the body does is it sort of cheats and it starts a natural diuretic process
Yeah.
And it increases the ratio of red blood cells to everything else. So you'll start peeing a lot more. And that means that all your body's doing is just transforming itself into an oxygen transporting machine and not worrying too much about everything else. That's why when you get like a little infection or a cut, it might take longer to heal at altitude.
Yeah.
So you'll pee a bit more naturally. When you take Diamox, it's like adding a turbocharger to that process. You know, so you'll be peeing loads more. So it is important to drink a lot of water. I have only ever had I've only known anyone to ever have the same side effects as me, which is pins and needles and tingling. It's not like it's annoying. It's not sort of unpleasant. It's just you know, annoying because it's really specific. Like you'll get it in half your tongue. I had it, you know, or like one ear, you know, or like by there, so it drives you mad. But other than that, I started feeling a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic. I noticed I was having a little bit of a headache that was making me feel a bit nauseous. And I just thought, well, I'm gonna nip it in the bud. I'll just take half a Diamox twice a day. And well, I made it to the summit of Killy. I was laughing and joking on the summit and made it back down totally fine. So clearly it did a good job. Yeah,
and exactly, Dave. And you know, you hit some good points there. Diamox, 100%. I mean, from our position, you know, use it. I know there's obviously some questions and comments coming there. Like I think it was where is he? Andy McNaughton Jones. Yeah, thanks for sharing us that. And your wife's a GP. Don't take it prophylatically. We have seen that from people, and we go along with that. Like you've got nowhere to go if you start taking it, and then you still get altitude issues. Then you've got nowhere to go essentially. So 100% we agree with that, and we always. I know some, because this is the flip side again. I've heard GPs say the opposite to that. So it's always like, you know, who do you listen to? Because there's obviously a lot of opinions about it.
Yeah.
But I think just from experience and seeing how people react to it, it's always better used. You know, if you're having altitude issues and your guide gives you say half a tablet even and makes a difference, great. You've still got somewhere to go then, because you can have a full tablet.
Yeah,
you can have more throughout the day, and you know, you obviously whilst your body naturally acclimatizes, because it just takes time for some people. You know, that's altitude. It's a funny bugger, I tell you. But it's
I you know what? Swear
then. So I wouldn't do that. No, but it's 100%. And then there's some other questions. I think I saw someone ask earlier around using certain drugs with a certain medication with Diamox, and if you can, like for instance, some people who are at altitude like to take an aspirin a day, which is cool. I mean, I do. Some people like to take ibuprofen or even paracetamol. You know, Dave is practically a walking pharmacy at altitude. So, you know, we always go to Dave essentially.
You know what? Mate, I have that first aid bag full of all the medication I need. Everyone always laughs at me in like at Kathmandu or Moshi. Halfway up the mountain, they're my best friend. I remember when Steve, our videographer, was halfway up Killy, and he came over to me. He's like, Dave, ibuprofen. For the love of God, ibuprofen. And I was like, calm down, mate. I got it here. But no, mate, I call them in Nepal, in the pharmacy there, I call them super mighty pills. So you can get these ibuprofen and paracetamol combined.
Which is which normally people wouldn't recommend, right?
Well, you can do it. I mean, it's fine. Like, you can do it because they don't contradict each other or impact each other. One is just an anti-inflammatory. One's like for headaches. So you can do it. Obviously, you've got to be wary of how much you're taking. So don't just like don't have a Pez dispenser and just keep like firing them in. You know, just like Andy's wife would say, you know, don't take it if you don't need it. You know, there's no need to take any drug if you don't need it. So if you're having a problem like pain or altitude or anything like that, stomach related, then you can take it to treat it as you would back home. You know, being at altitude is no different. You know, although altitude is another factor. If you're not experiencing altitude sickness, then just enjoy that. You know, and congratulations, you're acclimatizing well. There's no need to worry about getting it. You know, and just proceed with that mindset.
Yeah, I Jerome, thanks for joining us again, mate. I was told by the Killy team leader that you should not take Diamox and aspirin in combination. Yeah, and again, this is you know, you could have a team leader, a guide, you know, you could have someone else, you know, a GP. There's so many opinions out there about what you can and can't take together. From experience, I've known people who have taken them together. I've taken them together and I'm fine. You know, because I take aspirin anyway at altitude. I mean, it was something in all my research, even before starting the company, you know, 5 years ago now. It was something because I thought, okay, if you're aspirin and blood tends to thicken because it produces more red blood cells, if I take aspirin, maybe that'll level it out a bit. And even if it has that placebo effect, it make me feel better. So I did. And the first sort of 2 or 3 times I did that at altitude, didn't take Diamox. I've taken Diamox once, very short period of time, and aspirin, and I was fine. I know a lot of people who have done both, and they've been fine. So I think, yeah, Jerome, it's a good question, and yeah, I don't want to sort of say that your team leader on Killy was wrong, because you know what, there's always different opinions. I'd say my personal opinion is you're fine to take the 2 together, but you know, we all have to kind of make that choice of, you know, we're all adults and we all know relatively the same bits about these drugs. You know, I'm not a doctor or a GP. I'm talking from experience. And experiences, I have taken both and have been fine. And I think, you know, yeah, maybe that guy or lady might have seen someone else be ill, but it might have been something else. You never know. But I'd say you'd be fine. I mean, our position on it is that.
Nomad Travel Clinic, the nurses there have said that the only contradiction with Diamox really is the sulfur-related medication. So I think it's quite often if you have a heart condition or something like that, you might be on medication that has some degree of sulfur in it. Okay. I'm not 100% certain. I know that climbers use aspirin, you know, because it thins the blood, has a blood thinning effect. Yeah. And when you're climbing Everest, for instance, your blood will get like really viscous and thick, particularly if you try and do it without oxygen. You know, they always take aspirins, and it's good for headache as well. You know, so it just keeps it. But like I said, I mean, just follow the advice of the professionals, you know, like if your doctor or your GP or your nurse, whoever it is, says not to do something, then just listen to them. Also listen to your guide as well. Jerome, your guide might have had a very good reason for suggesting that. He might have had an instance in his life where he's dealt with someone where they were both on those and had difficulty. But it's a good question. I'll look into apparently why, but yeah.
So I've seen a few comments. Yeah, I am certainly a bit red today. I spent hiking in North Wales this weekend. I don't know if you saw the email. There was some swimming involved, but yeah, there was lots of sun, and it was great to get away for the first time in ages doing some hiking. Yeah, you know, just a nice little relaxing weekend. A bimble on the Saturday was great. But yeah, I do burn quite easy, and I know I should listen to my mum and use more sun cream. Yeah,
and you're Welsh, mate, like me, where we evolved to live under cloud.
Yeah.
You know, so,
I know, and it is warm in here as well. I realized that. I was like, geez. But yeah, great. Dave, we'll crack up with some questions, because I tell you what, we've got loads actually that have come in.
Good idea.
Lauren's been posting loads on here. Let's go. Right, let's have a look. Right, let me remember where we were at. Okay, right, Dave, I'll start with this one, shall I? Here we go. Chris, booked for EBC and Killy with ourselves. Great, Chris. He has a severe nut allergy. He's going to have a couple of EpiPens just to make sure your insurance covers it. But should I bring some snacks? I'd like not to die if possible. Yeah. Well, we know. Hopefully, we'll do that, Chris.
That's always our number one. Bonus. You know, to be honest, Chris, it really does help us not having to make an awkward phone call. So I think, bring some snacks. What do you think? I think let the guide know, because it depends. I know some people that can't even come into contact with a nut, right? You know, like if someone's eating a nut next to you, it has an effect. So do take all the precautions that you normally would at sea level, and bring some snacks. And if possible, mate, we will keep you alive.
On a serious note, like just obviously all jokes aside, with severe nut allergy, look, you know, we know it's great that you're having those EpiPens with you, and we'll make sure then that, you know, with regards to anyone using nuts on that trip, we'll brief everyone to limit that and almost sort of get that, you know, stopped. Because I know if you've got a serious nut allergy, it doesn't take much, does it? So yeah, Chris, as long as you let us know. Sorry, Chris, I only got your first name on here, mate. But yeah, if you are watching, do let us know. Do drop us an email, info@evertrek.co.uk, just so we can sort of make sure that we've got all that covered for you when you come on EBC and
Exactly.
Killy.
So
Yeah.
Lyndon Taylor and booked for Killy February 2023. When does Lyndon need to inform you of any dietary requirements? Vegan.
Yeah, nice. Just let us know before you go. The thing is, we'll always brief the team anyway before you arrive. So, if you want to let us know now, we can leave a note so we know when you arrive. But if you want to tell us near the time, yeah, we can brief the team, brief the guides, brief the cooks, and all the support team, and yeah, that'll be fine. So, anytime, Lyndon, it's always good. Even if I know it's like you're kind of waiting for the trip. But we can sort of save your notes here, and we can make sure that you're looked after.
Yep. Awesome.
Nice. Well, excuse me, Dave. Right, Gavin, looking forward to EBC trip in November. Yep, Gavin, can't wait to have you. Using contact lenses. I think we had a couple of these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Other people's experiences of using them. Do most people use daily lenses? That's his first question, and then he asks about water bladders. I suppose we'll come back to that. He is wishing you a speedy recovery, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Dave, where do we start with regards to contact lenses? I've not used them myself.
I'm gonna go out there on a limb and say that Shona used contact lenses, but I don't know. I don't use them myself. I know people have used them. With regards to daily or the ones that you wear for like a week, I'd probably suggest ones that you wear a week would be better. You want to avoid taking them in and out as much as possible, I guess, and in that respect, because obviously it's not the most sterile environment when you're in those lodges and stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't wear contact lenses, and to be fair, I don't even wear my glasses if I don't have to read anything. So
Ramona, I knew Ramona would know.
Oh, is it Ramona instead of Shona? Was it? Yeah.
Maybe Shona did as well. Too many. No, great stuff. Ramona used. Even she knew it was Ramona. See, they know, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Daily disposables for me at EBC. There we go. Yeah, I know I've had some comments around it before, and I think some of the guys who were in on Killy with us, Dave, when it comes to cleaning and stuff, yeah, limiting that as much as you can. But if you use disposable ones, then yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
With regards to that, he does ask as well about water bladders and the best way to keep them clean on the EBC trek. Dave, I know you're good at keeping your bladder clean.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've only ever cleaned my bladder about once or twice over the entire time I've used it. So to be honest, because you're filling it up multiple times every day, you don't really need to keep it clean over the length of a trek. When you're cleaning your water bladder, it's more that when you know you're not going to use it for a period of time, I'll completely clean it and dry it out, and then it's fine for the next time I use it. But when you're on a trip, you're going to be filling it up, draining it, filling it up, draining it multiple times a day. So you won't really need to clean that water bladder during the day, especially if it's new as well. You're not going to get a buildup of any nasty rubbish in there. It's only when it's been left. If you stop using it and there's a little bit of water in there, and then you leave it for like weeks or months on end, particularly if it's in sunlight, that will grow a bit of fur on it. But I reckon, completely empty it, dry it out. But when you're on the trip, don't worry about it. It's not necessary. It's more of a headache than you need trying to keep that thing clean. And by the fact that you're filling it and draining it and using it every day, it's not necessary.
Nice. Andrew Scott, actually, quite a big question, I suppose, and could do a whole live on this. But another page on Facebook claiming Kathmandu has gone back into lockdown. That's right. Over the last couple of days, we all. I don't know if you've actually been hiding under a rock. You'll know what's happening in India right now, which is which is really bad at the moment. And obviously, Nepal is just across the border from India. So yeah, unfortunately, the cases are rising in Nepal. We have been keeping an eye on it. Speaking to Anuj yesterday, who's our kind of ops manager in Nepal, and he's confirmed that because there's quite a lot of cases, especially with the variant from India, that Kathmandu is going to lockdown, I think on the 29th in a couple of days. It might even be already, because it's, but we're in April now. We're hopeful that obviously these lockdowns, these things get, obviously will be over by the autumn in Nepal. Talk about Nepal here. But yeah, it's certainly it's been on our radar. We've had sort of internal discussions on it, and we're keeping an eye on it. Certainly, and obviously we're wishing our team all the best out there. I mean, I don't know if you saw we did a little post around vaccinations. Nuj had his second. All the other guides will be having their vaccinations as well. So we wish them all the best. You know, they've had it hard out there, and unfortunately at the moment there's the Everest summits are still going ahead. You know, but there's lots of opinions on that, Dave. I know we shared our opinions earlier over lunch, but it is crazy that, to be honest, there's people on the mountain.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know, it's happening, isn't it?
Well, obviously we made the call, and it was the right call, and it was kind of made for us that not to run this spring season. And there's it's like all of that. It's like the Jeff Goldblum problem, from Jurassic Park. Just because you could doesn't necessarily mean you should. And we realized that we both couldn't and shouldn't. So I think that even if it was possible, then we would have made the right call, because clearly that the world is still in flux everywhere. There's one country has a lower, another country raises, and that's the way it is over there. India is obviously in a bad situation, so we are sending our prayers and thoughts over to all the guys over there, and to everyone in India as well, and anyone that suffered from coronavirus. And I'm comfortable, and I'm glad that no ever trackers are out there at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Going through that, that helps me sleep at night.
Yeah, well, I certainly think we made the right decision. I know, like Dave said, it was kind of, we didn't really have a choice, but there are companies that have found a way to get out there. But and are out there right now more climbing Everest, in terms of trekking. Some of the local operators have been running, and it's unfortunately there's this coronavirus Everest base camp right now. We can't hide that. And that's altitude's not good. So we do wish all the people the best out there.
Exactly.
And who knows, it might be over the next week. Who knows if they'll curtail that, because of the situation again in India. But I suppose you don't want to go into it too much today. But all we can say is we wish everyone the best over there. We're in direct communication with the team, and we're sure they'll be fine. But unfortunately, these lockdowns, Bri, I know you're on here as well, mate. Yeah, get over there. One of the lockdowns in Kathmandu in March. You didn't mind it a lot. But definitely.
Right. I think they drained the bar, didn't they? I think
they did drain the bar. Yes, like a good old Evertrekker should. But
no. That's good. Moving on. Question from Neil Giles his question is regarding Everest Base Camp Trek. How many are there in a group? So a group, probably 12-ish is the most accurate number I can give you. We don't like to be too strict one way or another. So if a group is maxed out at 12, and then you ring me and you say, Dave, my partner really wants to come with me, I'm not going to say no, 12. So 12-ish. What we have having to do because of again the situation with rescheduling everyone's trips is some dates. We are so popular, we might have like 25 people on there. What we've decided to do is run 2 parallel groups. So you'll each have your own core members, which will be 12-ish, your own guide, your own porters. It just so happens you go into the same place at the same time as with other Ever trackers and other trackers from around the world as well. So about 12-ish per group, but you may see another group of Ever trackers sort of just slightly over the way. But
nice. That was from Neil, and there's another one from Neil. What's the weather like in EBC in late October? It's surprisingly warm. I mean, during the day, you're talking shorts and t-shirt weather. And this is the Khumbu. This is Everest Base Camp. We always say plan for 4 seasons, because you might get some rain lower down in October. You might not. I know we have on some treks, we haven't on others. But then as you get higher, we'll get colder, and the shorts and t-shirt will get replaced by trekking trousers. Maybe a jumper or two. And certainly when you're above 5,000 meters, then when you're near Everest Base Camp, you might have your down jacket on, woolly hat, your gloves, maybe even thermals on, depending on how you like with if you prefer, if you run hot like Dave, he doesn't really need to put all those layers on. And sometimes like me, I prefer an extra layer or down jacket, and that works for me. But Neil, so I'd say temperature wise, October, you can get below 0, especially at Everest Base Camp, sometimes down to -10 at night. When anywhere once you're at certain, I'd say 3,500 4,000 meters over, once the sun sets, it does get quite cold. But yeah, good idea then just to chuck the down jacket on. Even at night, we've seen people wear some of those sort of thermal sort of slippers, like down slippers. I've never worn them myself. They do look cozy, I've got to be honest.
My dad's got a pair, but
has he?
They just, it's fine if you like. I prefer to like just put some sliders on, man, and get some air to those feet. But yeah, and warm them up next to the stove in the middle of the room, I think. But yeah, they do look comfy, to be fair. I tell you, another food question, Andy McGraw-Jones. Low carb / keto would be an option on Killy. You know what? Probably yes. Generally speaking, so in a normal standard, like no dietary requirements, it's more of a balanced meal. So there's probably almost like 50-50, carbs and meat. If you're already keto, I wouldn't fancy transitioning and going keto just on the hill. If you're already keto, low carb, and you're already functioning well and exercising and feeling the power, then certainly there's definitely meat available, like lots of chicken and stuff like that. So in fact, pretty much only chicken. So as long as you don't mind eating just chicken for like 8 days, then you'll be fine. But I suppose you could bring maybe some beef jerky or something like that from home, just to supplement your diet and stuff like that. But yes, it would be possible. Yeah, it would be. Like I said, as long as you don't get bored of chicken.
yeah, we have socks and sliders. that's definitely
sliders, mate, all the way. I am socks and sliders, man, every day.
Not for me. But no, it's all good, Dave. I'll let you wear them. But yeah, what was I going to say then? It was I think it was around Leah. I prefer a bimble to tramping. We have the bimbling Yeti in the other room who loves a bimble. And yeah, definitely her motto is it, a bimble is better than a bash. Is certainly one. And yeah, you Googled bimble. So what does it mean to amble without real aim, yet in a friendly and harmless manner? I like that. Yeah. I think if I was ever going to buy a present for Fee, it'd be that on a little plaque somewhere, I think that'd be quite nice.
Yeah. And when it comes to a bash, I think that's not a party. I think she'd prefer a party over a bimble. Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, Dave. Yeah, we still got some heaps of questions to go. What have we got here? So yeah, you got Ramona. I'm going to throw this one in there for the ladies. Remeds. Is it advised to stop taking the combined oral contraceptive pill before trekking at altitude? It can be a higher risk of thrombosis. Yeah, good question. I mean, I know and feedback from people who've taken the contraceptive pill at altitude, because I know that especially in Killy, taking it with anti-malarials it doesn't work as well. So just something I've heard on the grapevine.
Which one doesn't work as well? The malarials or the pregnancy one?
The pregnancy.
Okay, so just be careful in the tent then, I guess.
Yeah. But definitely, I think if there's anyone that's had experience of using both of those, or any info around that, I wouldn't say the expert on it, but I'd like to find out actually. Ramona, I'll definitely do some research on it. But if there's any other people that know a bit more information about that, then let us know.
Yeah, excellent. So moving on, where are we at now? Andrew Scott, can Diamox be available in a chemist in Tamil to be the real deal? Chemists over here seem to have everything, but is everything? Chemists over there seem to have everything, but everything is safe. Okay, so to be honest, it probably is the real deal. I think that that it's not going to be like fake Diamox or anything. I've seen it over there. I've not bought any from there because the guides always have it, so it's safe. Or I bring my own. My only question would be not so much whether it was the real deal or not, but is it in date? What's the dosage on it? The language on the packet might, it might be a different dose or something like that. So I honestly think there's no need to buy any locally. If you need it, your guide will have it, and your guide will be, or even if you really wanted to buy some, you could go to your guide and they will be able to get you legitimate, healthy, correct stuff, and you wouldn't have to even take the punt. So my advice is don't buy anything really over there that's unnecessary, like Diamox or something like that, when we can get it for you. But there are lots of other stuff. Like the chemist can be really good. Like I actually needed antibiotics. I picked up a parasite once and was able to get antibiotics like super quick over there.
Well, didn't really know what it was, right? But it works.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was. Literally, I spoke to a doctor, and they told me what one to get, and just said you can get it locally at a chemist. So I just sent my dad out with a list, and it came back, and it was about 4 different pills, all different colors, but I was assured they were the same. But by that point, I'll be honest with you, I was panicking a little bit because I had to get a flight in 24 hours, and I was in no fit state. So yeah, but they worked. Yeah, it's fine. But that was a case of dire need. Something like Diamox, I would just get it from my guide.
Yeah, 100%, exactly. I mean, I know some people like to sort of keep their own. So if you wanted to get any before, just in case, but they are quite pricey. But don't forget, if you if you do visiting Nomad health clinics, you do get some discount on the medication.
Yeah,
Just mention Evertrek. They should be able to give you some. I think it's about 10% discount on the medication, and then you get a free consultation as well if you do purchase any medication after that consultation. So yeah, just let you know about if you go in to see any health clinics. Nomad are really good. You should be able to. There's more information on the website. Yeah, definitely check that out. So Jerome has asked again around, does drinking 3 or 4 liters a day affect your daily allowance, any medication? I presume what you mean is that if there's any, sorry, Jerome, just the way I'm reading it, if there's any medication like Diamox, then you've got to kind of drink more. Is that how you're saying it? Because yeah, I think something I've noticed, and Dave mentioned before, that yeah, if you're taking Diamox, it is a diuretic. It does make you wee more, so you
yeah,
do need to drink, another liter of water, essentially. Or so someone once said that when you're out there, and don't want to go into too much detail on live, but in terms of the color of your wee, if it's clear, then you're hydrated. If it's not, then you need to drink more water, and use that as a gauge. But generally, if you don't need to get too scientific about it, just stick to 4 or 5 liters of water a day.
yeah,
Obviously, if it's warm, you're sweating, maybe drink a little bit more, and that does help you acclimatize it. I'd say 9 times out of 10, any altitude issues I've ever seen are because they haven't drunk enough water.
yeah,
So, if you can just get that right, and drink enough water, then, you're not leaving it to all, potentially all the other stuff. You might have a dodgy belly, or,
yeah,
you just, so some people, missing home, or, you maybe some people have twisted an ankle, but yeah, 9 times out of 10 is hydration.
yeah.
So yeah, it's so important. I hate to drum on about it, and I've talked about it so many times over the last few years. Hydration, hydration, hydration.
It's one of
Um,
the most important things, isn't it? And it's like you said, 9 times out of
yeah,
10, 10 times out of 10, if someone's suffering altitude sickness, the first thing the guide will ask is how much have they drunk?
yeah,
And it's not that difficult really when you think about it. Like, 3 to 4 is a minimum. I tend to do 4 to 5 because I run hot, which means I sweat a lot. But cups of tea, they count. 3 liters in your bladder, make sure that's empty
yeah,
by the time you arrive. That's and a few cups of tea, that's pretty much 3.5, 4 liters right there. So nice and easy.
yeah. I think Mark Beecroft, if it looks like Lucozade, get some water on board. Yeah, definitely. If it
Yeah,
looks like
exactly. Yeah.
Lucozade, we're having a word.
Although it is tricky if you take Barocca every day, isn't it? Because Barocca it's like glow in the dark.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Next week podcast, what color is your wee?
Hashtag, okay. Yeah, is a hashtag there somewhere, Dave?
Yeah.
Hashtag, what color is your wee? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
There was a pee chart over the toilet. I love it. See, all these things you think you shouldn't talk about, clearly you guys want to talk about it.
Well, this is the thing. You don't want to shy away from these topics because
No.
although in over the dinner table perhaps not, but when you're out there trekking, these are the things that matter. We all of our bodies and their functions are sort of laid out. We all have to go through it.
Nice one. Like a few more questions then, because I know we've gone on a bit here, but Diane asked around kind of caffeine. I love a good. Sorry, I have to have my coffee when I'm on here. Is the tea they give you black tea? I'll bring my own herbals if necessary. One thing, especially in Nepal, Diane, a little bit different in the other countries, but Nepal is known for fantastic tea. Loads of different teas out there.
Rhododendron tea.
Rhododendron tea, yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? I remember trying that masala tea. You got so many different teas, and yeah, that certainly if there's ones that obviously if caffeine, because you can't have caffeine, there are like really clean. I say clean, is that there's not much to teas that you can have out there.
Yeah.
Definitely discuss it with your guide, because the locals do know a bit more about the types of leaves that they can use. That I know rhododendron tea is very clean.
The rhododendron tea is very clean. Also, the tea out there is not. I mean, by all means, bring your own tea bags. If you have, if you have like a strawberry or something like that. But the teas that, the term like white tea, so it's not with milk. Our tea bags without milk, the tea's like coffee almost. Over there, it's like what they call like white tea predominantly. So you can drink it without milk, and it's not like black and too strong. It's quite nice. Sometimes they put honey in it, a bit of ginger as well, which is supposed to be really healthy and helps acclimatize. As long as you don't mind little chunks of ginger. You like the ginger tea, Andy?
I do like the ginger. Well, ginger's so good for you, and when you're out there getting all the goodness you can get, that's why I know you're taking maybe supplements. You got like a Barocca or something like that. But if you can get some ginger or garlic, I mean, we haven't. I'm surprised we haven't even talked about garlic soup today.
Garlic soup,
garlic
fantastic.
Soup, one of the best, and all the Sherpa and the guides, they always harp on about if anyone's not feeling too good, they'll try them with a garlic soup. Maybe if that'll pick them up.
And Sherpa stew is another one if you've lost your appetite. But they say, a lot of people believe, and some people say it's an old wives' tale. Some people say there's some truth to it. But garlic helps with altitude sickness and with acclimatizing. So I remember when I first went with EBC with my friend Billy, and he was suffering some altitude sickness problems, and one of the porters came up with a little plastic baggie with like 4 or 5 cloves of garlic in it, and told him to keep it in his pocket next to his heart. And honestly, for about 6 days straight, Billy trekked with garlic on him. He reeked, because they were the most terrible cloves ever. But you know what? I think he took them home with him and was like, got my garlic with me, So it was brilliant.
You should get them framed, man. That's this is the reason I got to Everest Base Camp. These damn garlic.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Right, Dave. Any others, mate, before we kind of sign off? I know it's been great, and we covered loads today. It's brilliant today, guys.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think we can talk about this type of thing. There's so much more, but it's really good just to clarify, obviously, that if you do have a dietary requirement or intolerance for one thing or another, or made a choice about what food you eat, pretty much you can be accommodated. Just give us a little bit of forewarning, and we can make sure that you're okay.
Nice, Dave. Okay, great stuff. Thanks for joining us, guys. And any questions we haven't quite got through, we'll go back through and see if we can pick them up. We'll obviously catch you next week. As Dave said, just kind of sort of summary, really, summarize, is that if there's anything that's kind of like any dietary intolerance, just let us know. Drop us an email, info@evertrek.co.uk, or drop us a little message on the chat on our website. And we can sort of work that out for you, whatever it is, and we'll do our utmost best to get you to where you want to get to, whatever challenge you're going through. Just let us know, and that's what we're here for, to help you get from where you are now, which is wanting to go on adventures, wanting to go to Everest Base Camp or Kili or Machu Picchu or Aconcagua, wherever you want to go. That's what we're here for, to help you on the journey. Right, guys, but we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Nice, Dave. Coffee?
Why not?